Hello everyone, and welcome to John's IEP meeting. This is an annual review of John's IEP, so before we get started, why don't we go ahead and go around the table and we'll have everyone introduce themselves and what their role is with John. I am Mrs. Riddle. I am John's special education teacher and his case manager. Thank you. Mr. and Mrs. Doe, would you like a copy of your procedural safeguards? Okay, excellent. And then could you just initial right here that you've received them? Thank you very much. All right, now let's go ahead and take a look at John's IEP. Now, if you have any questions at all during this time, please feel free to ask. Here we have some of John's test results. So we're going to have our school psychologist read John's test results for us. Thank you very much. Okay, now we're going to take a look at John's present levels. So it looks like in reading that John is able to read a text out loud in class with proper cadence and accuracy. However, John lacks vocational expression and fluctuation that would demonstrate his overall fluency in the text. John is able to respond to explicit or general questions accurately when given the needed processing time. John performs best in a one-on-one setting. He works well with an online reading program, which is, we use Lexia here at the school, and completes content areas with high accuracy at a slow pace. John prefers computer-based learning and struggles with the social aspects of smaller whole group learning. He has very detailed information on topics of interest and enjoys reading and learning about such topics. In writing, John is able to explain the expectations of writing assignments verbally when asked. He has wonderful handwriting and tends to use familiar words, so he has pretty good spelling. His sentences can be short, but they are grammatically correct and they contain a capital and a period. When he uses assistive technology, he's able to write longer responses to his writing prompts. The biggest problem that John currently has is just staying on topic. You can track his thought pattern through his writing. It often is not actually answering the prompt. In terms of math, John is working to develop the skill to create equal groups when given a total amount of objects. So from the groups created, he tends to, he then makes an addition or a multiplication sentence. He is making progress in this and can represent a multiplication sentence on a number line. He is able to round to the hundreds place, identify place values through the thousands. He can read and interpret graphs, but he does have a hard time making graphs when he's given data. He can do it, but he needs support in that. He's also learning about fractions and can struggle with the overall concept of fractions and with comparing fractions. His accommodations include that he gets to use a calculator, he has visual aids, he gets longer processing time, reduced note-taking. He does tend to do best when sitting close to the teacher so that he can be monitored to make sure he is on task. We don't have any concern about his physical development. In terms of oral language and communication, he does need step-by-step directions in order to complete a task and frequent reminders. He benefits from having the directions written down where he can reference them whenever he needs. He is good at communicating his needs and wants. He is working on making improvements and telling his teacher when something is bothering him instead of handling it himself, which is very good. Now, though, we are going to work on what is a big thing and what is a small thing. What things do you need to tell the teacher and what things should you just ignore? Because John tends to call out in class instead of raising his hand. He'll also do this to try and talk to his peers that are across the room, but he won't get their attention first, so he feels like people are ignoring him, but they just don't realize he's talking to them. Socially and emotionally, we don't have any concerns. We don't have any concerns about him being able to adapt either. So, do you guys have any questions about this? Is this about what you see at home with John? Okay, excellent. So, now we're going to take a look at John's goals. So in language arts, we are working on, given a passage at grade level, John will correctly answer 4 out of 5 comprehension questions with 100% accuracy and that data will be taken by his special education teacher monthly and recorded in quarterly progress reports. He has another language goal. Given a writing prompt, John will score a 4 out of a 6 on ideas and content from the state scoring guide as measured monthly by the special education teacher with data recorded quarterly. And then his final language arts goal is given a writing prompt, John will score a 4 out of 6 in conventions as measured by the state scoring guide as measured by the special education teacher bi-monthly and also reported in quarterly progress reports. He also has a communication goal. Given a grade level passage, John will increase his receptive language skills by answering why and how questions related to the passage with 100% accuracy in 4 out of 5 opportunities as measured monthly by the special education teacher and reported quarterly. So, do you have any questions on John's goals? Okay. He has made great progress on his goals from last year and had a lot of mastery, which is why we're now introducing these new goals. In terms of the accommodations John is receiving in the classroom, they're the same as he's been receiving. We are working to increase his social interactions by prompting conversation, more time for assignments, more time to respond, less writing demands, alternative assignments with less reading and writing, assignments broken into smaller parts, extra test time with breaks, and individually administered tests and frequent reminders or check-ins while he is working just to make sure he's on task. So our next section here, we have the consideration for ESY. We don't think that John shows any indication of problems retaining information or losing information over the summer. So the team has determined that John is not eligible for extended school year. As we continue on the plan, we will see, this is just on the IEP here showing what services he's receiving and who's providing that for him. So that's about it. That is our plan for John. Do you guys have any questions, any concerns, anything you'd like to add? No? Okay, thank you so much. I'm going to take this and I'll make a final copy to send home to you. As a reminder, if we do find anything that needs to be changed or adapted, we will send a prior written notice home for you to sign off on before any changes are implemented. All right, I'm now going to pass around our signature page, so if you could just sign and date that you're in attendance during the meeting today, that would be wonderful. Thank you very much, and thank you for attending this meeting for John.